morning, ladies and gentlemen. Morning. You already know my name. You know, as a person, every building has a foundation, isn't it? We're sitting in this building, it's got a strong foundation. So as every human being needs to have their own foundation, and you need to know who you are so that you can operate effectively as a human being. So simply, I'm a child of God. That's my foundation. So every other thing follows from there. So let me I just wanted to let people know who I am, because that's the foundation from which I operate. It has already been introduced that I have a BComm and an MBL. Entrepreneurship, I don't know whether it's something that's inborn or whatever it is, but it has been in my mind all the time. From when I was small, I used to take a bag of oranges, sell it at school, make money, and then go to the post office and deposit that money there. So that's how I always had some pocket money, extra pocket money that I used to make. So when I did these degrees that I did, it was specifically to go into entrepreneurship. And you know, having studied this international business studies and so on, I thought that I was just going to do an international business. That's how high I thought of myself then. So we started by going to Canada and wanting to start a franchise called Chicken Delight. And I like being original. I wanted to start something that is not here in South Africa. It went on for a year, struggling to get this thing on the ground. And it required so much capital, because I thought that I want a big business. I never thought of a small business. And even starting small, I never even thought of it. But after this venture, wasting time for more than a year, I said, no. I said to my husband, you know what, I think we shouldn't go on this way. Let's just drop this idea. And I saw an empty, it was a spa, an empty building that was a spa. And I said, you know what, I think let's just get a wholesale here. We had some capital. I said, let's start a wholesale. I don't want to be wasting time looking for business. Having left my job and trying to get this thing going, let's just start something. And then we started this wholesale business. We knew nothing about wholesaling, but we started that business. And we injected that about 300,000 capital in it and so on. And then we did realize that, you know, we're busy buying and selling, and that's not my idea of business. And I don't think there's innovation here or something like that. Then we said, okay, fine. We started tendering business. We knew nothing about, you know, being independent in business. We started tendering. That was in 1994. We started tendering and so on. And we got a school feeding tender. Then we saw the products that had been sold there, and we decided to start a manufacturing company to manufacture some of the products, because we're not being competitive. Then we started manufacturing whatever was there, milk powders, started formulating. I mean, I'm not a food technologist, but I became one. Today, I can formulate any food product that I want to formulate. If they have a problem in the factory, they come to me. I'm the food technologist there. I calculate the ingredients, I measure them up, and I see to it that the product should be what it is. It goes for testing and so on. So what I'm trying to say is that as human beings, God has given us brains, and there is no limitation to those brains. I mean, there is no limit. You know, as a human being, your mind is infinite, actually. There's a saying that the cells of a brain disintegrates after a certain time and so on and so on. It's not true. You know, as I say, my foundation is, I'm a child of God. And I look at His word, I look at the truth there. And I found out that He says the memory of the redeemed shall be blessed. Your memory will always be blessed if you think right. I'm more than 60 now, and I'm still an entrepreneur. And also, my belief also is that there is no retirement. God has never told people to retire. You can enterprise as much as you want. That's why I like entrepreneurship. They will say that, oh no, you're 60 now, we are retiring you. So there is nothing like that. You can enterprise. In fact, you have gathered so much information by the time you are 60 that you need also to deliver it to other people and see to it that, you know, the nation gains from your knowledge, because you have gathered so much of it by the time you come to this to my age. So in 1998 we started this manufacturing company. We had 270 square meters, and there were about 8 people. And then we saw that, you know, we didn't want to limit ourselves to the government markets. You know, I didn't like this. I didn't like the idea of just having a government market. Then we went into the retail space in 2005. So, having gone into that space, we started with Metro Cash and Carry. We supplied them with coffee creamer that we designed in-house. We were manufacturing this, packing it for them, and distributing it in the 160 shops countrywide, and also we distributed it in Namibia, Botswana, these neighboring countries. With everything, we handled that brand. That was Asta and Family Favorite. We handled that brand ourselves. So we're growing in that way. We're doing both all the government markets, the prisons, the hospitals, the schools, and at the same time we did also this, and we moved into now a 700 square meter factory in Cleveland. And but the crux of the matter came now. The problem was that this big wholesale with 160 shops started folding up, being liquidated. And it became liquidated with all the packaging that we bought for them, all the monies that we invested. We couldn't get the money back. Now we had a big problem there. Are we also folding like they are folding? Said no, we cannot close our business. We ended up owing the packaging people, all these the ingredient people and so on. What do we do? So we decided that, okay, fine, let's go on. We're not going to retrench anyone. You know, we didn't retrench any person. We didn't close. Instead, I tried to roll whatever we had and increase our market share and paid off all the debt that this company owed, not us. They owed it through us. You know, you find in business people owing things. You're not owing, but they are owing. But then you have a problem. So we survived that attack, that financial attack. It took time to do that. So in 2005, in the same year, Tutua, Standard Bank have this share scheme that they allocated to small businesses. They chose 250 businesses throughout the country. GTL was one of them, and we were allocated those shares, but they said that you are not getting any of these shares, they are locked in for 10 years. Only when you are successful after those 10 years, then you'll get the shares. Okay, some companies folded during that period, and Metro nearly folded us also, but we just went on. My staff knows very well that when we are confronted with that type of thing, where there's this closure and so on threatening, we pray. We prayed our way through, and the Lord just turned everything around, and we still are in business. And after 10 years, and during that process, as and when we are going through this whole thing, we keep on upskilling ourselves. We did ISO, I did ISO through SAPS, ISO 9000, and I did ISO auditing through SAPS in order for me to be able to implement ISO in my own company, because it works out cheaper that way. So I did the whole ISO manual myself for the company, and you implement those standards there, and you get your company working properly according to ISO standards, international standards. So that's why I'm saying that it's very important for people to upskill themselves all the time. It's not only ISO that, time and again, there's something that I'm studying in relation to what I am doing. Because when I want to do a thing, I want it done now. I don't want to be consulting all the time. Yes, I do consult. I prefer to work with, I like also working with other people who've got other skills than I have. But there are internal skills that you need to have, that you need to do here and now in order for your business to succeed. So it's better for people to upskill themselves. If you are in marketing in the business, upskill yourself there. If you are in accounting, upskill yourself there. But as an entrepreneur, you'll find that you need all those skills, combined skills, so that at any point in time, you are hands-on in your business and you can do whatever you need to do at that point in time, not waiting for a certain period for a thing to be done. You might lose opportunities. So Masisizane, Tutua gave us this money, and after 10 years, we took part of the money and we built our own. We had 1,000 square meter factory on that. From those money, we are operating it now. We built it last year in June 2017. June 2016, sorry, in June 2016. So what I'm highlighting this because you, as an entrepreneur, okay, you will undergo all these things. You see, there's this Metro that nearly folded us, but there's Tutua that uplifted us. You have, there's always a balance, but you need to hold on there and keep on there and be focused. I need also to mention that I never thought that, I never even dreamt of having a manufacturing company. I wasn't in that space, I never studied for it, but that's where I am, and that's what we are doing. But at the same time, as the last speaker said, as an entrepreneur, you don't just focus on one thing. During the process, whilst you are busy with this other thing, your core business, I built so many buildings during the process. I've got a student accommodation center where I'm accommodating students. Through the business, we've got a factory that we have built, we've got land that we have bought, you know, you keep on balancing. The money that you make sure that you are going to invest it in a project that's going to give you a return.
Yes.
So a simple thing like you take that, oh, here's a house, let me just do a student center from it. You find a house that could be giving you 3,000 rand per month, giving you 50,000 rand per month. You do things like that. You keep on innovating, thinking, what is it I can do? But at the same time, ensure that you know you are balanced cash-wise. I remember the other thing I want to talk about Masisizane. Masisizane, we had an intervention from Masisizane in November 2014. From November 2014, we started applying. That was the first time I borrowed 5 million in my life. So to me, it was a shock to have that type of loan. I don't like heavy loans, but there was this project that I had to do that we had to have money for, because we were accredited for soya manufacturing with the Department of Basic Education. And it's quite, you have to have ISO, you have to have set up things in place, and they have to check everything, so it was a big thing to have. But then we needed financing to finance a big client. So we started then financing this client, and we ran short of money. Then I think I went to Royal Fields, and this Royal Fields sent me to Masisizane. Then we were given this 5 million rand worth of loan. Now, we have to be financing this now. We have the loan, we have bought the stock, and we have this other small entrepreneurs for school feeding scheme that we need to finance. We started financing this. And these people started now not paying as they should. There's this 5 million rand loan, and I promised Masisizane that we will secure with our property. In one way or another, they overlooked securing with my property. Now these people are owing, and I'm not owing, they are owing through me. So I remember having gone for a holiday, I was just thinking and praying about this 5 million that I need to pay. And this, the Department of Education is not paying, they pay after 6 months sometimes, and these people are not paying, and that other client is not paying, and I have Masisizane loan. So what do? Well, firstly, I prayed. Secondly, I said, no, it's not really me who's owing you. These people who are owing. I'm waiting for money from them. So what should I do now? Okay, in one way or another, through prayers, the money started coming in, and we paid off Masisizane. And we had the balance, and we rolled, but during that time, we doubled our sales. And also, I want to add, I know that I haven't spoken everything about Masisizane. Let me just finish two minutes.
So that the audience can ask questions.
Yes. And then, I don't want to be injustice, because really, as I said, it was the first time I come across a 5 million rand loan. So, and I don't like owing that type of money. And you are going to be operating with other people who are not thinking like you, who don't mind owing you. You do mind owing these people, but they don't mind owing you. And they rather keep on owing you indefinitely, if it goes according to them. So we collected that money, and we paid off Masisizane. Said, praise God. And then Masisizane kept on now. Finally, I'm sorry, should I cut it off? Okay. Masisizane gave us another intervention whereby, they financed our business plan. they're financing our FSSC 22,000 HACCP. You know, they have been so good, and in the process, you find that they also guide you through the process. I'm encouraging you to actually deal with Masisizane. And what I like about it is that when you deal with them, you don't feel like a very poor person, an entrepreneur. They treat you as a fully fledged business person. There are times when you go to the bank in situations like this, you feel like so poor. You feel poor. You know that you have assets and so on, but at that time you feel so poor that you don't even want to be in that environment. But what I realize with financiers like Masisizane, whether you are in a certain situation, they always treat you with that respect. But at the same time, we as entrepreneurs also, we need also to give due respect to our financiers. Give due respect despite, regardless of what age they are. Let us respect them, let us be humble. So that, you know, we deal with them with respect also. We respect the finances that they've given us, we pay them back, you know, so that in future, we haven't closed our own doors. Those are the main points that I wanted to say. There's still a lot, I haven't even touched my slide. There's still a lot to say, but I'm talking about 20 years of business in 15 minutes, so these are just the gist.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Green. We truly appreciate it. What we'll do is that the pointers that you didn't mention, please integrate them as the audience are going to be asking the questions. Thank you very much. Can we have some hands? So, yes, sir, you'll be number one, the red shirt. Number two, where the ladies at? Raise your hands. Got two questions so far. All right, let's take the first two. Yes, sir, please stand up.
Thanks, Mama. My name is Samson Morake. I'm into transport. My first question, let me just make one question, as short as I am, is I think the first challenge that we all share is financing, and I think with yours, it was better that we had capital to start. The second point was, how did you access those markets? I know you went into different sphere of business, but I think for where I am in terms of business now, I've got the capital, but access to market, how did you actually overcome that challenge?
Access to markets?
Yes.
As I said, we started tendering. We started also talking to retailers. Like when we felt that we have developed our coffee creamer, and we looked for machines and so on, and we tested the process, and we said, okay, coffee creamer can work. Then we started negotiating with some retailers like Metro Cash and Carry, which have 160 shops. In fact, what happened was that you need also to study, to do your own study. What is it I want to do? I started by going to their shops, Metro Cash and Carry, because they were a very big wholesale. And I checked their coffee creamer range, what is it they do, what is there. And then thereafter, we tested the coffee creamer itself. We saw that it's good. And then thereafter, we looked at machinery. How are we going to produce this? We bought a very small machine, a very funny, small machine that was done manually. But in the process, when they started saying that produce for us coffee creamer, it was 80 tons per month. Now, this machine wasn't going to cope. We have now to seriously, what happened then, ESCOM was offering some help. You know, as small businesses, you have help when you will get help when you look for it. ESCOM was helping businesses, and they bought us, I think, a blender, and we had some capital that we're raising from our school feeding scheme projects and also from the prisons markets. We bought a machine that is automatic, that does the 1 kgs. But in the process, whilst we were doing that, we had a lot of conflict with Metro because they gave us this contract which we were not really ready for. But in the process, we had to make ourselves ready and got the right machines, and we ended up knowing how to produce the 80 tons per month that was required by Metro.
Round of applause. Question number 2, and then yes, you're noted, ma'am. Question number 2. Yes.
My name is Gauteng from Institute.
Can you, sorry sir, can you just hold on so that we can get a microphone to you? Thank you. Sorry about that.
Thank you. As I said, my name is Kari from Masisizane Institute. My question is, what led you to the decision to manufacture and stop buying and supplying? What led you to the decision to manufacture?
When you buy and supply, you don't have control really over competition or competition, because they are also maybe buying and supplying. But the minute you manufacture, let me just make you an example. We used to tender for the prisons for syrup. We used to tender for jam.
Wow.
Those things, and we find that every time, especially syrup, we are frustrated that the price was so high we couldn't even tender properly. But we did realize that, no, I think we better manufacture our own syrup, which we did. And every time we tender, we get the syrup. And also, you don't innovate. I don't know, there are those people who are really good at buying and selling. I'm not saying it's a very good skill if you have it. But for me, it doesn't, I don't become innovative if I do that. I cannot manufacture my own product, I cannot set my own cost, I cannot, compete effectively. That's why I stopped this buying and selling. A wholesale wasn't cut out for me. I mean, we had to leave it because that wasn't something that, as I said, when I started, I said, let's just start something. We cannot be sitting and be busy with this franchise. Let's start something. We started the wholesale, but then that's when we started. But every entrepreneur will tell you that sometimes they don't even know what to do at a certain point in time. But if you start something, something will build from it. You keep on building from it.
Can we take the last question?
Good morning again. As a woman who's been in the business for more than 20 years,
Yes.
and I understand you're very huge, could you at least inspire us as entrepreneurs? How have you helped the economy in eradicating unemployment?
I don't know whether I am very huge, as you say, because
Literally not. Literally not.
okay. As a business, let me just make you an example. When we built how have I helped the economy?
Eradicating unemployment, like your staff, this and so forth.
I have staff, as I say, when we were encountered. Okay, let me start when we started. When we started, I think we had a staff of 8. And as time goes on, as of last year, we had a staff of 30. And in the process, these people, the people that are employed, from a staff of 30, you've got heads of families there. They get salaries from the same business, and they feed their people. Let me just make an example. Like we built a 1,000 square meter warehouse in order to do a far bigger school feeding tender. But for one reason or another, I know the reasons, but I'm not here to actually say them. You know, there's this thing called corruption that happens. It's there, whether you like it or not, but you need to actually also prepare yourself. If I have this situation, what is it I'm going to do with this situation? Because some things will always be there. You cannot change people, you just can change what you can do. So when this thing happened, we didn't get this thing that we have been doing for more than 20 years, we didn't get it. But we had alternatives. There's always, as an entrepreneur, you think, nobody can actually, I don't believe that anybody can really let me down. I don't believe in it. As I said, firstly, my foundation is that it's God. God is the one who gives me things. So we decided that, okay, we didn't get this tender. Firstly, we are going to manufacture our own now. Masisizane again is helping with that. That business plan, they have finished it, we are discussing it tomorrow. For soya manufacturing, it's not only soya raw material manufacturing, you can manufacture the instant porridge, you can manufacture sorghum, you can manufacture the raw material that we've been buying from other people. So I'm looking forward, I'm not crying about something that I didn't get for one reason or another. I mean, those people have got a reason why they gave those people that they gave. But although I don't believe in that, but then that's not the space where I am. Where I am is that I am a business person, I'm a manufacturer, I can think on what I need to do, and I need to do that in order to go forward. So that's how I think forward. I don't look back as to the disappointments. Yes, they are there, but then you'll find that that's not the door that you should have entered through. This door is the door that I should have gone through. Maybe that project, I was too long in it, I don't know. But I prefer to do what I am doing now, and I'm looking forward to growing the business in that direction, and also exporting what we shall be manufacturing, because it's raw material now.
Can you please give